Hi everyone, it's Stacy and thank you for coming on this yoga leap with me. Welcome back if you've been practicing with me through these videos for some time now, and welcome to anyone new who's just maybe finding these videos for the first time. Today you'll notice by design I don't have my chair. If you do like to practice with the chair, by all means grab one. We're going to be doing a little bit of stretching, taking it down a notch. The last couple of weeks have been a little more active, so I wanted to just bring it down a bit and stretch it out. So you can do anything sitting in the chair or using the chair as a prop if you do want to have one. I just omitted mine today just to switch it up a little bit. I do like to encourage us to keep that sort of beginner mindset and try new things as much as possible, or different things, and switch it up. So I won't be using a chair today. I'll be doing most of the work on the floor and trying to offer as many options as possible, as always. If there are props you like to practice with, blocks, straps, blankets, bolsters, by all means go ahead and grab those as well, and I'll go and meet you on the mat. So I'm going to start sitting down on my mat. As always, we'll start with our warm-up. So we can come to a nice comfortable seated position, whether that is cross-legged or a little bit easy seated pose like how I am. Just got my legs kind of loosey-goosey. Maybe if you're feeling up for it, you can come into a lotus or half lotus, but anything that feels good. We just want to start seated on our mats or in our chair, of course, and find a few breaths, a few moments just to sort of land here and take a bit of time to put aside all the thoughts of, oh, I wish I had, and all the thoughts of, oh, I still need to do X, Y, Z, and sort of just find ourselves here in this room and in your room and on your mat or your chair and ready for a bit of yoga. And of course, yoga can be anything from what seems like a simple posture, sitting quietly, which is not so simple, all the way up to all the things you might see online, hand balances, really difficult poses. It's all yoga. In fact, yoga is sort of the inner learnings and feelings more so than the postures themselves. So just keep that in mind as we flow through a nice gentle class today. We're doing yoga, we're breathing, and we're just spending a bit of time for ourselves here on our mats. Okay, with that all said, let's settle into a nice easy seated position, or maybe lying down on your back. Maybe you want to lie down on your back to start. Knees can be bent or straight, again, whatever feels best. We'll take a minute to bring our hands maybe to our laps, and we can turn the palms down or up depending on what sort of energy you're trying to bring into your practice. If you are feeling low energy and you want to bring in some energy, palms up might be nice, or palms down will sort of ground and bring the energy down, or keep it down if that's where you are. That's where I'm starting, and I'm going to stay there. So I'm going to turn my palms down to feel a bit grounded and connected. If it is comfortable, closing the eyes. If not, just turning the gaze softly down towards the floor so that you can find something nice and still to rest your gaze on. Then just take a few deep breaths, just like inhale and let it go. Just like really let it go. Just take a big inhale here. Let it go. We'll do one more. Let's just see if that helps calm our thoughts. See if it helps sort of let go of any thoughts we might be having. See if it helps bring us to the present moment, turning our attention to our breath like that. See if we can now notice just the natural flow of the breath after those 3 or 4 forced breaths. How's the breath flowing now naturally? Did we create a bit of space in our bellies or maybe up in our heart space for the breath to flow? We're not trying to change anything. We just want to notice the natural flow of the breath. What's the pace? Is it fast or slow, deep or shallow? There's no right or wrong. We just want to notice. Maybe we can start to turn our attention to our physical body, and depending on our shape as we begin our practice, maybe Feeling those sit bones connecting to the floor or mat. If we're down on our back, maybe we can feel the length of our spine and back of our head on the mat as well. And depending where our hands are, can we feel the weight of our hands connected to our lap, our thighs, our knees? And just take a moment to notice any areas where you feel comfort and ease in your body. Rest your breath there for a couple of breaths, your breath and attention. Then maybe notice any areas of dis-ease or a little bit of discomfort, and rest your breath and attention there. Can we now flow our breath and attention between those spaces of comfort and ease, or dis-ease and discomfort? Just let the breath flow naturally between the two places. Just bringing our awareness to different parts in our bodies. And there's nothing wrong with having a bit of comfort or dis-ease. We're just noticing where that is. And then noticing where we feel completely at ease in our bodies. Just really bringing that awareness to our physical bodies. For the next couple breaths, can we think about bringing some of that comfort and ease and drawing it towards, up or down, or to that place of dis-ease, and see if that loosens up any tension. See if it breaks up any discomfort or dis-ease. And instead of carrying that dis-ease back to the area of comfort, just try to let it go. Let's do that for a couple more rounds of breath, and then we'll bring a bit of movement to the body. Maybe start to wiggle through fingers and toes and circle our wrists and ankles, depending on our shape, making any adjustments to the way we are positioned. And if you're lying down on the ground, maybe making your way up to a comfortable seated position, just so we have a bit more room to move and move through the spine and kind of get the spine ready to stretch and lengthen and find length and ease. I imagine a lot of us had that dis-ease, maybe in our low or upper backs. Not all of us, but I imagine that's a popular place for it. So once we find ourselves all seated, let's bring our hands to our laps. We'll do a few breaths. Inhale, reach the arms up. Really, when we get to the top here, reach up, even draw the shoulders up towards the ears and really find length, reaching up towards the ceiling with the fingers and thinking about rooting down through the sit bones. Right away, you'll feel some length in the spine. Inhale here, and then exhale, bring the hands down. Let's do that again. Inhale. Reach, 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 and root, root, root. Exhale. Let's do two more. Inhale here. We always want to make sure the breath that we are breathing is for us. It's our pace, our breath. It doesn't matter how fast or slow I'm going, or how fast or slow your neighbors, if you are practicing with them. Let's do one more. We always want to be moving with our breath. Okay, this time let's reach up with both arms. We're going to drop the left arm down towards the mat, and then let the right arm come up and overhead. We don't want to dump in. We're always wanting to be active, so we want to create nice length and reach down this right side body here. The left arm might want to walk out a little further or in a bit further to support wherever that feels best. Blocks are always available if the floor or mat feels a little too far away. And gaze, as always through the practice today, is going to be wherever it feels best on your neck. That might be straight ahead. It might be up sort of underneath the armpit as you rotate the heart space open, or it might be looking down and creating a bit more stretch and length as we look down towards that left shoulder. Oh, we've been here a while. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Let's exhale, release both arms. And then we'll inhale, reach up. Let the right arm fall down. Left arm reaches up and over, creating that big space down left side body. Really think about where we want to place that right hand. We can even press into that right hand. That helps root the left sit bone down to create more length down the side body here. Find where that gaze feels best. It might be different on this side. Let's come on up on an inhale and exhale. Good. Let's add a twist. Let's inhale here. Exhale, twist. So we're going to let the left arm come behind, right arm cross in front of the body, reaching for opposite knee. The grip on the knee can be loose, but it can still help guide us into this twist a little bit. The left hand is behind, anchoring into the floor to help us find this nice tall spine. We're not just sort of sitting like this. This isn't our twist. We want to make sure we're rooting down, twisting through the torso and chest, finding a nice tall spine. Again, this left hand behind us is helping lift into the nice tall spinal column. And then we might look behind us. I'm just going to turn back towards the front here. Still in my twist. Good. All right, let's exhale, come through center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, twist over to the other side. So root down through the sit bones, twist through the core and chest as left arm crosses over, right arm reaches behind and helps us find that nice tall spine as we just guide ourselves into this twist gently, maybe looking over the back shoulder. Good. On the inhale, let's release, come through the center. Hands on the thighs, palms turned down. We're going to do a little bit of cat-cow. And then we're going to just find some sort of organic movement through the spine and hips. So we'll do a few inhales just so we can think about lifting and sort of reaching out through the rib cage, looking up. This is our cat, so we're finding a bit of an extension in the back. And then we're going to round through the spine here. You can use the knees to help splay the shoulder blades around through the spine. This is our cat stretch. And then inhale, see if we can come through to our cow stretch, one vertebra at a time. And then exhale, cat. So this is our seated cat-cow. Of course, if you prefer to be on your tabletop on all fours, that's fine too. And then when you feel ready, if you want to find a little bit of organic movement, maybe you want to circle through the hips a little bit, the hips and waist, still finding a bit of splaying of the shoulder blades and a little bit of arching in the back. No matter what movements we're choosing here. If you want to change the cross of your legs, if you've been sitting in the same cross-legged position for a while, go ahead and do that, and then maybe switch the circle direction as well. So anything that feels okay, you could continue with those side stretches. You could do a twist, or you can just rotate through the hips like this, whatever is best for the spine and hips. Good, we'll do a couple more wherever we are. And on the next inhale, let's come up to a nice tall seated posture. If you're already in tabletop, we'll meet you there, staying there. Let's just uncross the legs, rotate over to all fours, find our tabletop, settle in here, stacking the wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Pull that belly in for a nice strong base here. Find a few cat-cows if you haven't already. Same thing as sitting, but this time we're going to press the floor away. Instead of grabbing onto the knees, we're pressing that floor away to find that rounding in the spine. And then dropping down for our cow. Again here, after a couple rounds of this, if you want to start to circle through the hips or even just sit back and forth, We'll notice a little bit of pressure in the wrists. So really try to splay the fingertips, excuse me. Create a nice wide palm surface for the weight to kind of distribute into. Get the weight out of the heel of the foot, and then really think about pressing into all 5 fingers and thumb pads. Press the mat away, and then we can maybe circle the other way. So it just helps us distribute the weight so the wrists aren't taking all of that weight. So just nice and easy here. Of course, you can create a little bit of lateral movement, looking over one shoulder and drawing that hip up towards that shoulder. Coming through center on our inhale. And then maybe exhaling other way. Inhaling. All right, a couple more rounds wherever you are. And then we'll all meet in our neutral spine here. Let's sit our hips back into our child's pose. So the hips can go back, the knees can be as close or as wide apart as you'd like, making room for the belly and heart center, or draping the belly and heart center over the thighs. Reaching the arms long, lowering down, finding a nice stretch underneath the armpits. Try to breathe into the backside body. Try to breathe into the low back, middle back, upper back. All right, from here, let's just gently lift the forehead, and we're gonna walk our hands over towards the left, keeping the hips nice and heavy over the heels, and then maybe walk that right hand over and see if it meets the left hand, and then lower down. So we're creating a big stretch down the right side body as that right hip reaches back for right ankle, but our hands are reaching over towards the left. And then we can switch sides when we're ready, lifting forehead, walking through center, and then over to the right. See if we can stack our left hand on top as this left hip stays nice and heavy over the left ankle, creating a big stretch down the right side body. Stay for 3 full rounds of breath. And on the inhale, we'll lift the forehead, walk ourselves back through center. Let's pull ourselves back up to our tabletop. We'll do a little bit of twisting here through the core. We're going to put our weight into our right hand here. The feet can either stay as they are, or you may want to open the knees up a little wider as the toes come together. This might help create a bit more opening in the torso. So the weight's going to come into that right hand, maybe moving it towards center a little more. And then we're going to inhale, lift, and reach our left arm up as we press the floor away with our right arm. So for me, I've opened my knees up a little bit and brought toes together. I do find that it allows me to get a little bit deeper twist. And I think that feels a little nicer here. Let's inhale. And exhale, we're going to thread the needle, but we won't stay. So we're just going to thread the needle here, shoulder drops down, and then inhale to reach up and open again. Good, we're going to do 2 more like that. Exhale to reach. Inhale, press the floor away, open up. Exhale, reach. Let's do 1 more big inhale just so we can then settle in. So this time we're going to stay. So we're going to thread that needle, and we're going to come down either onto the side of our face or forehead down to the floor. And this right hand can stay supporting us, or it could reach forward as well, creating a little bit of shoulder stretching. Taking one more full round here. And on the inhale, if this right arm is reaching forward, bring it back just so we can sort of press into the mat here, lift ourselves up. Let's take for good measure one more big stretch and open, and then we'll lower down and switch sides. We'll go to the other side. So just making any adjustments, we're going to bring that left hand. It's going to stay firmly planted. It's going to press out of the mat here as we open up towards the right. Right arm reaches. Inhale. And then thread the needle here. We're not going to stay. This is our exhale. Inhale, so press, lift, and reach. And then exhale. Again, inhale, big reach. Feel that nice twist through the core. And for good measure, to balance out both sides, we'll do one more big reach here. Inhale. And now we'll settle down here. And again, coming down to the side of the face, the forehead, left hand staying for support or reaching forward. And maybe try to drop that elbow down, that shoulder and armpit down. See how that affects the stretch down the back of the shoulders on the right. We have 2 more full cycles of breath here. One more breath. All right, let's walk that left hand back, press into the mat, just so we can press up and open, stretch it all out. Good, bring that right hand down. Bring the knees back in to create our nice firm tabletop here. Couple rounds of cat-cow if you need it. And then we're going to come into a little bit of back bend. So we're going to actually walk our hands a little forward. We'll drop the hips down and see if we can come down onto the mat, onto our bellies. To begin with, let's just walk the hands a little wider than the corners of the mat here. We're going to zip up the legs, pretend they're a big zipper, squeeze the bum, protect the low back here. As we inhale, we're going to start to lift sort of one vertebrae at a time, unravel, and then lift and inhale, and then we can lower one vertebrae at a time on the exhale. So finding the hand position that works best for you on fingertips maybe flat palms. Inhale, squeeze the bum, legs are working, and then exhale. Let's do a couple more rounds of this. Squeeze the bum, inhale, find a bit of extension. Don't crunch into the low back. Think about reaching forwards and down. And then same thing when you lift up. Think about sort of lifting forwards and up, creating length. And then lower down. Okay, option here to keep going with the straight up and down lift. Keep adjusting the legs so they're zipping nice and tight. Inhale here through center. Option this time to dip right shoulder into the middle and then come up, and then left shoulder, and then option to just keep switching or to lower down in between sort of reps here. So just moving how your body feels best. Listening to when you need a break. Taking child's pose. We'll do one more round here. Wherever you are, flowing with your breath means you are doing yoga. And lower down. Hands can come on top of each other, lower forehead down, or maybe forehead all the way down, hands down by our sides. Let the shoulders roll forward. If you've taken this option, release through the glutes. Maybe even just shake it out a little bit. You can step the feet wide, rock the hips out a little bit, shake the shoulders. You're in your private space, go ahead Shake it all out. Stay for a couple more rounds of breath here. Really relax, melt into the mat. Let the mat support you for a moment. And then from here, we'll bring our hands about to the side of our upper ribs. We're going to lift the forehead and press ourselves back just to counter this a little bit into a tucked child's pose. So bring the knees together here, drape the torso over the thighs, and let the hands come down to the side, palms turned up. So you can see the shoulder blades will splay open. You'll create a nice rounding through the spine. Breathe here. And then when we're ready, let's just bring our hands just underneath our shoulders. We'll help lift the forehead off the mat. And now we end up sitting on our shins. We're going to move into our baby camel or full camel. So I'm just going to turn back to the side here. So options for this, again, if you have blocks, you can bring them sort of behind you. If you have a camel or a full camel and you want to come up to your knees, squeeze and tuck the bum, line the hips over the knees. You can reach back for ankles or bring your hands to your low back and find a nice camel and front side body opening here. Or you can join me in a little bit lower version, but still a nice opening. Hands reach back. So I'm going to just lean back a little bit so my hands can come just sort of behind, not quite right behind me, out to the side. And like I said, if you are practicing with blocks, a nice option for the blocks might be to put those there so that your floor comes up a little higher. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep my blocks here now that I've showed the demo. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. Reach back for the floor. If you do have blocks, you can find the blocks. And you don't even need to lift your hips off the heels at all. You can just simply push into the floor or blocks, open up through front side body, and stay here. So maybe you've already been in your camel for a few breaths. If you want to come out of it and then come back in, we're going to stay for 3 more breaths. Keep pressing into the floor or blocks. If you're up on your knees, making sure that the tailbone is tucked and hips are aligned over the knees. We have 1 more breath. All right, from here, we're gonna come up and out of our camel. Awesome. If you want to fold back down into one of those sort of rounded child's pose options, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, from our shins here, as long as it feels okay on your knees, you might want to come up to your knees if you're not already here. If it's a little much on your knees, maybe sticking a blanket or rolling your mat to give a little bit more support to your knees here might feel nice. And we're going to step our left foot out to the side. So I'm going to squeeze my bum, making sure my hip lines up over my knee on this side, and my left leg straight out to the side, toes are facing forward, and I'm trying to plant the whole bottom of my foot onto the mat. So even the pinky toe edge there. Awesome. So you might want to stay here. You might be feeling a nice stretch already. If not, let's reach the left hand down the left leg, reach right arm up and over, coming into our gate pose. So this is similar to what we were doing at the beginning, just adding the sort of little bit more hip extension here maybe, and feeling the stretch maybe a little differently or a little deeper. Again, gaze is wherever it feels comfortable for your body. And then on the inhale, let's come on up and then see if we can rotate our hand all the way down to the mat, or again, the block placed here might bring the floor up a little closer. And we're going to do the opposite stretch. So now you'll feel a nice side body stretch. This top arm can reach straight up, or it might want to reach overhead if you have room. I'm hitting my wall a little bit, but I do want to bring my hand overhead there. But we all want to check in and make sure that we're still sort of align the hip and the knee here, that our left leg is still out nice and straight. We're creating a big long line of energy all the way along left side body here. Awesome. From here, let's see if we can come back up. It's a lot of strength. Oh, a lot of torso strength. Good. Maybe just over to the side one more time. And then with a bit of control, can we lower ourselves down? We might end up sitting on our foot, or we can come right down to sit bones. And here we are in a one leg bent option to find a fold. So from here, two options. If you want to do a little more side stretching, what you're going to want to do is turn your body towards the short leg, the bent leg, and then find your side stretch. It's one of my favorites. If you feel like you've done enough nice stretching, maybe turning the torso towards the straight leg and starting to walk yourself forward along the outstretched leg. So you'll still feel a nice little bit of stretch maybe down the side body, but a little less intense. And we're going to transfer some of the stretching to sort of behind the outstretched leg here. I'm choosing this option now. Even though this is one of my favorites, I feel like I've had nice deep side stretches already today. So I'm going to turn towards this bent leg and with a nice straight spine, start walking myself down the leg until I can't kind of go any further with that nice straight back. Take a big inhale and then melt down. Stay for another breath. On the next inhale, start to walk ourselves up. We'll make a small adjustment here as we bring our soles of our feet together. We'll find ourselves in butterfly. Take an inhale and then exhale, forward fold. So feeling a bit of a stretch down the inner thighs. Elbows might want to press into knees. Hands can be at ankles, feet, or on the ground in front of you, wherever you feel best. Stay for a couple of breaths here. Option to round through the spine if you'd like. And then on the inhale, we'll start to make our way up. And let's kind of go in reverse here. So we'll tuck that left leg in, right leg comes out to the side. We'll make our way through that last sequence, but kind of in reverse. So remember, if we're looking to stretch the side, we're going to turn to the short edge. This allows us to find a side bend down the right side leg, stretching the left side body. Or like I said, if we felt like we've had enough good side stretching, then we want to turn our torso to the right leg, which is outstretched. Take a big inhale and with a straight back, start to walk ourselves down this outstretched leg just until we can't go any further with this nice straight back. Take a couple of breaths here and then melt down. All right, from here, let's start to make our way back up to seated. And if it's possible, we'll make our way up to our one knee from here. If we need to go through, like bring the legs, roll over to tabletop to get in there, that's fine. I'm just gonna see if I can prop myself up onto my one knee. Make any adjustments to the feet here. I'm gonna try and plant this right foot down, and I wanna kickstand this leg right out behind me. Find that pelvic tilt. So from the side, my bum is not sticking out. I'm really tucking it in, lining hips over knee here. All right, we're finding ourselves in our gate pose on this side. Let's take a big inhale, reach the right arm down, right leg, left arm up and over. Keep squeezing that bum, lining the hips. And keep thinking about rotating the right arm, the right shoulder forward, left shoulder open. Stay for another breath. Gazes wherever you're comfortable. On your next inhale, let's see if we can use our strength to come up And then let's see if we can find a block or the floor on this side. Foot stays grounded, right arm reaches up or over, creating that nice long line of energy. I'm almost out of the frame. I'm just gonna scooch down a little bit. There we go. Hello. Squeezing that bum still, aligning hip over knee. And then from here, instead of coming all the way back up, we'll just make our way back down to seated. Let's come into a wide leg forward fold. So we'll stretch both legs out, knees can be bent. We want to roll the pelvis forward. We want to see if we're rolling back off of our sit bones, if we can start to tilt the pelvis forward so that we're sitting right up on them. Hands can come in front, or if you need a little help with that, maybe even just pressing behind. That's going to help you sit up on those sit bones nice and tall. You might stay here, you might start to fold forward, and you might bring hands forward and walk yourself forward. Lots of options, whatever feels good. We're going to stay for a few breaths here. We can stay with a nice tall spine, which I love, or you can melt down, lowering the hands, chest, forehead. I'm going to stay with a long spine for this. I feel like I get a bit sloppy in this stretch when I don't concentrate on this nice long back. Engage energy through the feet, toes pointing up. And then we're going to walk ourselves back through center. We're going to bring the legs in and we're going to roll down to our backs. We're making our way down to the mat here. So you can choose to unravel the spine one vertebrae at a time using your core strength. You may want to use a leg to get down, or any other way that feels safe to you. When you get down, gather both legs in and rock side to side. Just massage out that low back a little bit. Oh yeah. You can continue with side to side rocking. You could maybe bring hands to knees and circle the knees in the same direction or opposite directions here, or a little bit of all of this. We'll stay for a few more breaths. I like to do a little bit of all of this. I find that all the different positions of the knees and where the weight transfers helps sort of massage different places of my low back. So I do love kind of experimenting with different types of little rotations here. All right, next time the knees come into the chest, let's give them a little hug. Maybe we even draw our forehead towards knees. We have a little bit more stretching. So let's lower the left leg down. We'll keep this right foot up and flex, and we'll cross it over that left leg. Let the right knee come open. We're going to move into our figure four. As always, you can stay here. You could reach through and draw that left knee in towards the body as the right elbow pushes right knee out. Keep this right foot active and flexed. Stay in stillness or rock side to side. Just enjoy your outer hip stretch, which I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to nicer weather, being out and about a bit more. This sitting down for 6 months has gotten to me. My hips need action. They need movement. They need stretching. And we're in April now, so we are in the home stretch for that nice weather. All right, let's take it into a spinal twist. Option here to bring the knees in even tighter. Let the left leg find the ground. And then you can choose to twist either way. If you twist with the right leg crossed on top and twist over towards the left, just scooch the hips over towards the right a bit. And then maybe opening the hands to T or cactus. Both shoulder blades grounded. Gaze over opposite shoulder. Let's bring that gaze back through center. We'll bring the knees back through center as well, using the core strength a little bit. Reposition the hips, uncross the legs, maybe step the feet wide, windshield wiper a couple times, and then we'll go to the other side. All right, step the feet in hip distance. This time left foot's gonna flex and cross over right leg. Left knee goes out to the side. You can stay here if you're already getting a nice stretch, or reach through to draw that right knee in towards the chest as the left elbow pushes left knee out. Lots of energy in that right foot still. Stay in stillness, rock side to side, whatever you need on this side. Remember, it could feel different on each side. One side's tighter than the other, one side maybe feeling better than the other. We never know what our bodies are going to be feeling from day to day. We're just doing our best to try and honor them and take care of them and give them the best chance at feeling great every day by doing our yoga. All right, let's stay for a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, we can release that right foot down. We'll just cross the left leg in even a little tighter, hands to cactus or T, and let the legs fall over to the right as the hips kind of scooch over to the left here. Gaze can be over the opposite shoulder. Find a few rounds of breath. And then when we're ready, we'll bring the gaze back through center. We'll bring the knees back up through center and reposition the hips as well. Uncross the legs. If you need another windscreen wiper, go for it. If you're ready to move into Shavasana, go for it. Shavasana, knees can be bent with maybe just letting them fall in towards each other, or we can straighten our legs out long along the mat. Hands can come down by our sides, palms turned up. We'll take a few breaths and start to scan our bodies and just notice if we can find those areas of ease and dis-ease, comfort and discomfort. See if they're still there, see if they've moved or changed, or if everything is the same, there's no right or wrong. Shavasana is the time for our physical and energetic bodies to absorb all that good work we just did and turn it into something magical. It's a time for integration and rest. And know that rest is different from sleep and that we need both every day. We should never pass up an opportunity to just rest and do nothing. Now, the beauty of practicing through the video, of course, is that if you want or need to stay in Shavasana for a little bit longer or a lot bit longer, by all means, let the video play out or press pause and stay exactly as you are. Or if you're ready to get on with your day or evening, start to wiggle through fingers and toes and circle wrists and ankles. You might want to stretch along your mat or curl into a little ball one last time just before rolling over to one side and making your way up to a comfortable seated position. From here, hands can rest on our lap, palms turned up or turned down. The hands can come into prayer at heart center, or they can rest right on top of the heart. I just want to thank you all for allowing me into your personal private yoga practice spaces and for allowing me to guide you through this stretchy journey tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on this yoga leap with me, and hope to see you here again next week. Until then, take care. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I hope that a stretch was exactly what the doctor ordered for you tonight. The doctor, of course, being your own self, and that you enjoyed this stretchy class. And I hope to see you back here again next week on your mats and in your chairs. Take care. Bye.